Hello? Hello? Hello, good morning, Victor. And I have English Max Language School here. I don't know who that is. You're welcome to the Supply Chain Industry Network. My name is Abiodun Oke, so I hope you can hear me. Hello, can you guys hear me now? Oh, okay, loud and clear, great. So I have a little blob up there, introducing our network, even though I will still talk more about what we do in our network. And also, would like you to introduce yourself. This is an opportunity to network. So let's not take it for granted. You never know who might be able to connect us with the right opportunity. So um, I hope just to introduce ourselves. I gave a little example there. Okay, we'll be waiting for the other guys, but I wouldn't mind meeting you if you can show the camera. And we have a little chat to get things going.
Hello.
Hi.
Sorry that I don't turn off the camera. Just actually, I was not planning to turn on the camera. Sorry.
Yeah.
My name is Lily. I just immigrated to Canada. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, I'm founder of English Max Language School. Also, currently, I'm trying to understand the job market here, and also I'm applying to some kind of jobs. But actually, I think that I'm making some kind of mistakes because I don't receive any invitations for
Okay.
interview, no shortlist, etc. But actually, I don't have. I have pretty good background on the sphere that I have been working at.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're not alone.
Yeah.
So hope that gives you some comfort level. When we come in newly into Canada, we always have those issues with not getting responses. But we'll talk about some of those things today. I when we talk about Canada, there are different ways in which job search works, aside from the paperwork. Paperwork is one thing. However, there are also other nuances to how job search works in Canada. So we will look at those aspects and how we hope that going forward, we will change how we approach job search, and that will get the kind of results that we're looking for. So nice to meet you. I didn't get the name.
My name is Lily.
Lily. Okay, Lily, nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Okay. I think we have Victor there. Victor. Victor, are you there? I think your mic is not active yet. Can you hear me, Victor? Trying to log to my Facebook. Doesn't look like I have access to it. Mm. Okay, we're waiting for more people to join us. Victor, are you there?
I am here. How are you doing
Oh,
today?
yeah, good, good. How are you?
I think your volume is low.
Oh, okay. Let me see. Is that the same experience with you, Lily?
No, I hear you well. The volume is very good one, yeah.
Oh, okay. So, Victor, you might want to check your side, just in case maybe you have an headset on or something like that. But we can hear you though. Can you go ahead? Want to introduce yourself?
Lily, we are waiting for you to lead.
No, she already introduced herself. You didn't hear
Oh,
her?
I didn't hear her.
Oh, okay. She did. Maybe, yeah. So maybe it's
Okay,
your.
no problem. I can do again. Victor, hi. I'm Lily. I just immigrated to Canada. It's almost uh 2 months that I have my work permission now. I am looking for a job. Um, I am sending resumes every day, so but no results yet. I think that the problem is related that I'm living in Montreal currently, and I don't know French. So
Oh, okay. You didn't say that.
yeah, yeah, just
I,
got it. What
I,
is the problem? Yes.
I'm
Um.
actually gonna be in Montreal next week.
Oh, great, great.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in Montreal next week.
Yeah. I don't know French. Currently, I'm taking French courses. But I'm not sure that in the near future I would be able to work in French.
Hmm.
So, but I have very good background because in my country I was working at parliament, etc. So I was state servant. I was specialized on political issues, international relations, etc. But I think that in Canada it is not needed that much now, especially for the person who came just now. So,
Uh, go ahead.
I'm trying to find something new. And
Okay.
I think that there are
We,
some,
we all are.
yeah. Uh, so it's interesting because challenges are interesting too, especially when you want to overcome, and finally, when you find how to do that, it is very satisfying and fulfilling.
You're right. You're right. You're very right. Yeah. So, Victor, go for it.
Thank you
Yeah, I'm
very much.
trying to go ahead.
You see now that it's good that I asked Lily to reintroduce. There are new information we are getting from her.
Yeah.
And it's getting more information that you'll be in Montreal in very soon, right?
Yeah.
Well, hi everyone. Victor is my name. I'm calling from Dallas, Texas. And I
Okay.
hope the program is not only meant for Canadians. It's a
Yeah.
question because it's
Not
like,
necessarily. So what we do here is focus on foreign trained professionals in North America. We actually have people in North America who are also part of our network. So definitely you're welcome. It's not American culture, generally speaking. However, I know that there are Canadian nuances to these things, which might not really be similar to United States. But yeah, generally when we talk about the social cultural situations in Canada, it also applies to United States. I hope that makes sense.
yeah, it makes sense. Thank you so very much. Um,
Applies.
I'm into IT, but I want to diversify into supply chain, stuff like that. That's why
Okay.
this thing looks attractive to me. And
Okay.
I hope it's be a good fit for me. Thank you very much for now.
Okay. Nice to hear from you. Okay. Who else is there before we start? Who else want to introduce themselves? And like I always say, this is like it's like okay, I'm gonna stop sharing. 'Cause I don't know why this thing is not sharing. It's like a rehearsal, right? You go to a networking scenario and then you have to introduce yourself to somebody new. How do you go about it? So that's why we don't skip this part, because the more you do it, the more you get comfortable to be able to introduce yourself when you meet somebody new. So who else want to go for it? Adela, you're there. Nice to have you.
Do it. I did it 2 times.
Yeah, who else is there? I mean, there's some guys there who I think I see Charles and I haven't met. I believe I've met Faye Kemi. I'm not sure, but if you can introduce yourself, let's go. Let's go. Can keep the conversation going.
All right. So good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, my name is Charles. I'm in Canada. I'm into IT. I think I came across this meeting in one of the platforms, so I decided to join to find out. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just join the meeting to find out more about what it's all about. So that's why I'm here.
Okay, great. So, you're currently working, or do you have any other things you are targeting in terms of job search, career, anything?
Not really. So like I said, I'm into IT. And a little aspect of security, which is the vulnerability management aspect.
Okay.
And as you know, IT is an ever-growing field. So just trying to see how I can get the best out of my career and
Sure.
what other things I can do to improve myself. A little aspect.
Okay. Awesome. Adela, so I'm going to make you a co-host so that when I start, you're not having to juggle too much. So I'm making you a co-host. Maybe one of these days you get to do this presentation yourself. All right. Let me see. Let me add myself to the pin here. Okay. All right. So for those of you who haven't introduced yourself, and even the guys that have introduced themselves, please don't hesitate to, do a little blurb, of introduction about yourself and share your LinkedIn URL. I emphasize this every time because networking, it's a journey. It's not like it's not like an event. It's really something that keeps going on, and you never know when the person you are able to connect with will become the resource person that will connect you to the opportunities you're looking for. So it's not a casual thing. It's something we have to be very deliberate about. And also that is the reason why I always emphasize to introduce ourselves, because we want to make sure that we are making the best out of this opportunity as we meet here. I just want to make sure that people can hear me on LinkedIn. I don't know, I have some issues with LinkedIn when I'm streaming like this. Okay, just a second. Okay. Okay, can you guys see my screen?
Are you sharing it
Sure,
now?
yeah.
No, we don't
Oh,
see. We don't see screen share.
oh, okay. Give me a sec. Oh, okay. I think I see where thing got minimized. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, we can.
Okay, sounds good. And I also confirmed I can hear Lily on LinkedIn. Confirm that LinkedIn is also working.
Yeah. I was there.
Okay, okay then. So we're talking about informational interview today. Has anyone done informational interview before? Can you do like a little thumbs up if you've done informational interview before, something that is not new to you. And see you can use the reaction button there if you've done informational interview before now.
Mm-mm.
I didn't see any thumbs up.
I
No
put my
one?
What?
What did you say? Informational interview, have you done it before?
No, I haven't had it.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Okay,
so
great.
okay.
All right. So we're actually going to do sort of an assessment here today. That will help you to know really where you are kind of uh, on this journey. Because really, when it comes to job search or even career growth in Canada, you've always heard that networking is a huge part of this because a lot of the jobs are not actually advertised. If you've listened to some of the sessions we had before now, we had one that was particularly focused on networking, and I believe we also had one before that. So I post all of these things on YouTube where you can watch them. So I'll just try my best to still see how I could help you catch up with some of the things we were talking about before now, because these sessions will be going for some time. Charles, you have your hands up. You have something to say?
Yes, I just wanted to confirm this meeting recorded?
Yeah, it is recorded. It's actually going on live on YouTube as well as we speak. So once we're done with it, you can actually go on YouTube and also listen to it or just whatever you want to do with it.
All right, thank you.
So yeah, it's recorded. Okay then. So I spoke a little bit about myself in the chat box. If you haven't done so, please also do same. Let's know more about you. That might be what really get us to connect better because we might see something that are similar or something that is of common interest to us. Just like Lily mentioned Montreal, and I happen to be going to Montreal next week Tuesday, see? So this is how all of these things kind of link up together. So um, anyways, informational interview, we're going to look at the job search challenge. I always, want to focus in on job search challenges every session that I have because this helps you to kind of is the string that connects everything together. All of the session we've been having to this time, be it the LinkedIn one we had or the networking one we had, the job search challenges is what connects everything together. So we're all now going to look at an assessment. So this assessment is to assess each one of you to really see where you are on this journey. Remember again, I said networking is a journey. So we want to see where you are on this journey and also to help you identify maybe some things that you need to do differently. A lot of times they throw out this word networking, networking, networking. If you don't do some specific things differently, it wouldn't, even though you have attended this session, it doesn't change anything unless your behaviors change. I hope you get my point. I could be watching, I want to lose weight, and I could be watching all the different things that they're doing at the gym, even be able to analyze it and every other thing. But does that change the fact that I still want to lose weight? It doesn't. So until I hit the gym myself and start exercising, that is really when I will see the difference or the results I'm looking for. So we will, at the end of the session, we'll talk about how to move this to the next step, where you'll be able to actually get hands-on and do these things that will lead to the results you're looking for. So the job search challenges, we've broken it down into three categories here. We know it's more than just these three, but for a foreign trained professional in there in Canada or United States, you decided to leave your comfort zone in your home country, like Lily mentioned earlier. But guess what? When you come to a new place like this, is a place of growth. You've chosen to grow, right? You want to grow. And this is a challenge that you have taken upon yourself. And then this is where all these challenges start coming up. All right. Somebody was talking there. I think I heard somebody talk. Okay. So if you could help mute yourself for now, and when the time comes for question and answer, you can unmute, or if you have something to say, you can just click on the reaction button to raise your hands up. So limited professional network, this is one of the major issues that we have as foreign engineering professionals. The moment we step on that plane, we just basically cut off all the networks that we had prior to that time. Because you come to a new country, then it's new people, it's new culture, it's new everything. You have to like start from the scratch. But if you had a huge social capital, or you build back up your social capital, it will really help you to gain insights into the opportunities that you probably are not seeing at the moment. And this is really why we're having this session today. We want to get your awareness level up in terms of how to build that social capital here in Canada. This is the reason why we also set up our network. You know, we were a bunch of different professionals who were going through these challenges as far back as maybe 2013, 14, 15. And we realize that we're actually the solution to this problem, because some of us are already in the industry, and we keep saying that, oh, we don't know people in the industry. Well, how about you guys? You know, why don't we come up and come together, and then we start helping those who are just coming in, and that way we help to build this network. And that's what we call the supply chain industry network today. We have over 500 people on the WhatsApp, and then we have over 1,000 on the platform itself. If you look at the chat box, you will see the link to that platform. We have lots of resources there. We also inform about events that we are holding every Saturday. So we meet every Saturday here. It's an opportunity for you to network, to build your network, connect with new people, connect with people with similar interests, people who are your colleagues, to help you navigate or even journey with you as you navigate the social cultural landscapes here in Canada. The second one has to do with paperwork, okay? Because of this lack of social capital in Canada, of course, you are just stuck with paperwork. What I mean by paperwork is applying the jobs online, right? And that's what majority of us will do. We will just apply the jobs online because we don't really know anybody. We don't know those people we might be able to connect with to see, even give us some insights as to, okay, how this industry works, or these are the opportunities that are available. So we're basically stuck with this paperwork. And for a lot of us, our experience is that we don't hear back. You heard that from Lily earlier. We just keep sending and sending, maybe doing what we call this pray and spray, and nothing happens anyways. So this is also another major issue, and informational interview is one of the solutions to this. Lack of Canadian work experience. Okay, so this is another big one, right? Um, Canadian work experience, I always tell people that it's about the fact that employers want somebody who can deliver on the job. And the only way they can know and be sure that you can deliver on the job is if you are currently working for somebody else here in Canada. All right. So this is my own perspective to the Canadian work experience. People can look at it in different ways. It's discrimination for sure, because they are basically not recognizing the experience you bring from your home country. And if you look at it from the employer's perspective, because I've talked to a number of them, the stakeholders, the recruiters, I've talked to the hiring managers and all that. So I see from this perspective that it is about risk management, or business risk management. You don't want to hire somebody based on just the paperwork, only to realize that this person will not be able to perform, or even you as a hiring manager, that puts your job at risk. If you hire somebody who could not perform, based off of the experience they had in their home country, this is the reason why you hired them. So I just want you to understand this perspective, so that you're aware and you are open-minded to what might be the solutions. So these are the different things that we talked about, all of this before now. Like I said, if you want to really catch up with these things, you have to watch some of the sessions we had prior to this time. They're all on the YouTube channel, which probably will share that soon. So here are the 6 things that I call the Pareto rule of job search in Canada. I hope you've heard about Pareto rule, and I say these things because, of course, these solutions were developed specifically for supply chain project managers, because this is their language, right? So when we talk about Pareto rule, we're saying the 20% of activity that you should be focused on that will yield 80% of the result that you desire. Okay, so this is what we call Pareto rule. So leveraging referrals, meaning getting somebody within the company to refer you, or getting a contact who have a contact within the company to refer you by, sharing your resume with the hiring manager or the recruiter, whatever. Get a mentor. Okay, you need somebody who has also journeyed on this. The journey you just started, Lily. You need somebody who has gone through it. Usually, this is somebody who have the same background as you. This is somebody who probably have the same job title that you desire, all right? And these people are willing and open to sharing because they went through the same thing. So they have that empathy when you reach out to them because they know they were you at some point in their own career journey, right? So the third one here is get a job search strategy. Okay. Job search strategy here is talking about doing things differently from just getting stuck with paperwork, just sending jobs on posting online. You will need much more than that, Lily, to get a job in Canada. Well, it works sometimes, but at the best, you are applying as a random candidate, if you know what I mean. I mentioned a particular thing, a concept we call the hiring pyramid in Canada. Hiring pyramid speak to the fact that when employers are looking to fill a role, they don't just go post it online. They are going through several other methods, like reaching out to somebody within the industry association, or even, reaching out to their employees, asking them if they know somebody who can do the job. Or they might even have temporary employees, that might be shadowing that job from the beginning, and then maybe HR just says you have to put it online anyways. So they do all of these things, or they could use recruitment agencies. So they are doing all of these things while this job is also posted online, right? So this is the way it works here. I hope everybody understands that. If you apply online, you are not the only one applying online, maybe 1,000 different people, right? So it's a random application versus these other guys who are being referred through a trust network. All right. Okay, a friend of a friend referred this person. They would rather trust on that person's vouching for his experience than trusting somebody who is a random applicant from online. This happens every time. And then we have what we call SWOT resume. This is more specifically around paperwork. It's basically making sure that you're not just throwing, you know, shabby resume out there. You want to make sure your resume is tailored specifically to the jobs you're applying to, and that you're not just all over the place. You need to be very strategic. If it's three roles that you have chosen, focus on making sure that your resumes are tailored to those three roles, and leave every other role that you are not well, your experience is not well matching. Because I know a lot of people do that. They just throw out all of these resumes, just to count the numbers of applications they've done in a week. You shouldn't be doing that, because when you do that approach, it's basically spreading your energy or effort all over the place and not really getting any result at the end of the day. But if you put your effort towards making sure that your resume stands out of the pack, then you get better results. Then seeking feedback is very important. It's about making sure that you are learning as you go on the journey, that even if the employer is not providing the feedback, okay, you could have like a mentor or somebody else who helps with this feedback. And then finally, mindset is key. If there is any Pareto um, rule here, or that 20% of what is going on here in these 6 items, this is the 20%. Your mindset needs to be upgraded. You need to move from fixed mindset to a growth mindset. Remember, I said it's a journey. So try to focus more on, okay, what can I do differently? What am I getting from this event that is happening? And then how can I move forward to improve for future maybe interviews, maybe applications so that you can get better. So job search is not easy. It's frustrating. It's, there's a lot of anxiety, of rejection and every other thing in between. Like I would tell people, these are chemicals. All of these things you see, they are chemicals in our body, and if they are not managed properly, they could just be sending wrong signals, and before you know it, people will go into what we call job search depression. What I mean by job search depression is when people see a job, they're actually qualified, you see they meet every of those expectations, but yet decide that, yeah, I'm done with the pain. I don't want to deal with this anymore. I'd rather not just apply to it. So this is what you will call job search depression. So before we move forward, though, I would like to make this a little bit more interactive. I want to share, you know, this link to a survey that I would like you to participate in. Okay, so if you can complete that, just to kind of gain some insights into how you are doing things at the moment. Let me make sure that you have access to it. Okay, it doesn't require login. Let me know when you have it open, just to confirm that it's all good to go. You can just hit on the reaction button so I know you have access to it now. Anyone?
Sorry, please. Where is it posted?
Oh, I think I posted it to Lily on. This thing is tricky, man.
Yeah.
It has only posted to Lily. It happens every time. If you had it, just by default, it just takes one person's name instead of having it on default to everybody. So you should see it now. So Lily, since you gain access to it, have you been able
Yes,
to open it?
yes, I have access, and I have already started.
Oh, okay, awesome.
Yeah, you also spoke something about the groups, the WhatsApp group, and some other groups that you're going to post. Yet to see that too.
Okay, I'll share that now. I'll share while you guys are working on the assessment. Let me share the WhatsApp and also the YouTube. Okay, let me see if I can share this with guys on LinkedIn as well, in case they want to participate. Yeah, sorry, those guys who are listening to me on LinkedIn. It just so happens that, LinkedIn is not so friendly with the streaming app that I'm using. So this is the survey for those of you guys on LinkedIn. You can also participate. Let me share that YouTube. Okay, so this is the YouTube. Share the YouTube. I think somebody was asking about the WhatsApp. Adela, can you share the WhatsApp? Adela, are you there?
Let me see if I can.
Okay, because my desktop here is it's really messing me up. I couldn't load my WhatsApp. Actually, I should be able to send it to the guys on LinkedIn. But there's a condition with the WhatsApp though. You need to join our platform before we add you. So you will only be able to request, and then we will check if you are on our platform. If we see you're on our platform, then we would accept your request. Okay, so you need to join that first. You need to join the platform before we accept. Yeah, because we're a professional network. We don't always want just anybody to join us. So if you join our platform already, we can see the person that is requesting to join, and we can then accept the request. Okay. Let me see. Okay, let me check what is going on with the. Okay. Okay, seems everybody have done that. Isn't it interesting? Okay, let me stop sharing this so that I can show you the results. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, so success rate was 0%. 7 people that responded to this didn't pass because the pass criteria is 80%. So if you haven't been able to achieve 80%, then you will not have been able to pass. So how confident are you in your ability to network effectively? Many people say very confident, only one person. All right, so you are at the right event, we're going to talk about that today. How often do you attend networking events? All right, 6 people said really. Okay. One person said occasionally or once in a month. All right, so those are the very important factors when it comes to the access you have to, stakeholders or even contacts within your industry. It's really about going out, right? I know going out for introverts like me might not really be like some fun thing to do, but you just have to. Do you actively use LinkedIn for networking? How many people say yes regularly? Only one person use LinkedIn regularly for networking. And networking on LinkedIn is huge. It's huge, especially for a job seeker. How prepared do you feel for conducting informational interview? Let's see, two people, yeah. People said they are very prepared. Um, 8 people, how many people said they are prepared? One. Okay, maybe we should have asked if you've done one before. How often do you conduct informational interview? Never. 4. And then one person only once in a month, right? So these are the things you need to watch out for when it comes to informational interviews that you probably are not doing, that you need to do. You remember when I started in the beginning, I said it's about behavioral change. You can listen to me all you want till next year. If the behavior doesn't change, nothing changes, right? Because it's the behaviors that change that determines the result. So these things is really about behaviors when it comes to networking, when it comes to your job search, how you are approaching it. Apparently, a lot of people are just online applying, sending these random applications rather than actually reaching out to stakeholders within the industry, those who have impact on the outcome of your job search, right? So, and this is what this session is really about. How do you typically find contacts for informational interviews? LinkedIn is one person. Referrals from friends or colleagues, two persons. And then I think professional events, two persons. All right, maybe those who said that they do informational interview once in a month. What is your biggest challenge when it comes to networking? Initializing conversation is three. Yeah, could be there could be anxiety around initializing conversation. I mean, if you talk about initializing conversation being you know, uncomfortable with that, yeah, that is something that I am having issues with myself because I'm an introvert. Yeah, because I'm an introvert myself, this is something that I struggle with. Just give me a second. Okay, let's go. I think we have two more. Okay, three. How effective do you think your follow after networking event or informational interview is? So follow up is key. I see here effective one person. How do you usually prepare for an informational interview? I think we have it all over the place. Yeah, all of the above would have been more like it. So I don't see anybody with the okay. So one person with all of the above. Basically, this is all how all these approaches would apply. Which of the following do you feel most needs improvement in your networking and informational interview skills? Um, Confidence in approaching people is one. So this also should be all of the above when it comes to improving your networking and informational interview skills. But when we go through the session, we will focus on the details of this. So let me stop sharing this particular one now. Let's go back to our PowerPoint. Any question at this point? Yes, I haven't seen I haven't seen the outcome there. No questions? So like I said, it's about noticing your behavior and then addressing those behaviors. You have to be very intentional when it comes to networking. And this is one thing they don't say, you know, when they're telling you about, oh, you have to go network, that's how you get a job in the industry. But if you do go network and you don't really do the right things, then still you're still in the same spot. So why informational interviews? Informational interview is an informal conversation with an individual who works in a company, role or industry that interests you. Remember, I mentioned something earlier about when you know employers are looking to fill a role. You see, the way they go through it is they ask their employees. So you need to position yourself by meeting these employees in advance. All right. And then when this job opportunity comes and they're asking them in their company, okay, do you know somebody who can do this job? Guess what? You already did your homework. You had already reached out to these guys in advance. I used to advise that do a minimum of 10 people across maybe the industry of interest. So if your industry of interest is oil and gas, identify three companies within that industry, minimum of three companies within that industry, and then look for people who have the job titles that you have and start doing informational interview with them. So why is this very critical? It's very critical because it is the approach that aligns with how the employers actually fill the roles in the organization. I hope that is making sense. And when it comes to even recruitment agencies, guess what they do? They want to poach people from one company to another company. So what they would normally do is they will, when they want to fill, let's say I want to use a generic job title, like a data analyst role, for example, they will reach out to people who have these roles that are already working for a company to see if they can poach them for the company that they are hiring for. All right. And what we have told our colleagues is, look, if you are happy where you are, fantastic. Don't hesitate to let that recruiter know that you actually have a friend who can do that job. And what you need to do is then share it within our own network and provide the information and possibly refer our colleagues for that role. See, this is the way it works. Informational interview helps you to open yourself to those opportunities you have been missing. You know, it takes effort for sure, but this is an effort that it's much more productive than sending 100 job applications in a week, if that makes sense to you. One thing you also notice that you need to be very strategic. You're not just running all over the place looking for people. You are choosing specific industry of interest to you. You're choosing a job title that is of interest to you, and you're reaching out to guys within these companies so that you can set up this informational interview session with them. I say it this way. Instead of you waiting for an employer to call you for an interview, informational interview is you setting up the interview yourself. And I'll give you an example. In the last 2 weeks, we did, I think we did an informational interview session. Okay, we did the career transition success stories. There was one lady amongst them, Bosse, who's based in Calgary. She was working with FedEx and all of that before she actually approached me for support in her job search, because of course it's not really what she wanted to do. And I done some sessions with her to let her know that you need to reach out. And then she had mentioned that there's a job opportunity in a particular company, is a consulting company, and that she had met the founder before at a networking event. Now I told her you need to reach out to that person. All right. And then we did the script, there's a particular script that you would use, in kind of setting this type of thing up. And what she did was she reached out, after, there's anxiety around these things for sure. And it's normal. So guess what? This person accepted to have that session with her, and they did it at an informal place. And then she was asking these questions. I mean, she was supposed to do an informational interview, right? She's the one asking the question. But of course, the founder also had questions for her. And the questions sounded like she's actually interested in taking her to the next level for that interview. The long story short, she got that job. So, and this is was within a month after we started talking, right? And you can bet before that time, what she was doing was just sending jobs randomly online. So informational interview, again, is about you setting up the interview. Don't wait for them to set up an interview for you. Be proactive. You set up the interview. It might seem as easy as what I have said just now, but it's about making that effort. Remember again, upgrading your mindset. You need to switch from the approach that you are doing right now. The current behavior that you're going through right now is sending random applications online. You have to change that behavior to setting up the interview yourself. All right. So unlike job interviews, though, this conversation can help you gather information about your career path, but not necessarily obtain a job. So it's about building relationship that will then open you up to the type of opportunities that you're looking for. So it takes effort, it takes being strategic, it's about building rapport, nurturing relationship within your industry, and it gets result just based on the example that I have mentioned earlier. So yeah, some besides just having information that helps you in your job search, there are several other things that you can get from it. My keyboard's been behaving this morning. So benefits, the key benefits here is gaining industry insights, expanding your network, and then also uncovering hidden job opportunities. So these are the job opportunities that you are missing. The 80% that they tell you are not advertised. These are those job opportunities you will gain access to through informational interviews. Now, it helps you to obtain unique industry insights. Even as you prepare for interview, if you have a contact there that you've done an informational interview with before, it makes it puts you at ease to be able to then ask them questions like, oh, how does the interview works? Who is this? What is that? What type of project are they working on that they are actually hiring for? What is the culture in this company? Is it a good place to work in? And that reminds me of this same lady I told you. She reached out to somebody in a company during that period before the one that led to the job offer. And the job that she's applying to, or she was intending to apply to, she had contacted a guy that left that job. We didn't know that that guy left that job she was trying to apply to. And guess what? The guy was telling her that, look, I left that position. It's a negative working environment. The supervisor was not the type of person that you would want to work with. And then she knew, no, this is not a place I also want to work. So you can imagine if she has not done her homework in that manner, she probably will do interviews and get the job and then realize that she's working with the wrong boss. And as they always say, it's about the boss, it's not about the job. So these are the kind of insights you will gain access to through informational interviews. You'll be able to build rapport for professional development. Maybe you'll be able to explore mutually beneficial, uh, you know, um, project activities with your colleagues. And then also you could obtain referral. So it could lead to obtaining referral, but it is not the ultimate goal. If it lead to referral, great. But if it doesn't, that is not the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal here is to gain access to industry insights, expand your network, uncovering hidden job opportunities. All right. So these are the benefits of. So I don't know if anybody have any question at this point in time. Okay. So, well, to be able to know or meet people that you will do these informational interviews with, right? How do you get to contact people, right? So this is what we're talking about here. So this is like the fundamentals of networking strategies which we covered in previous sessions. So you can look at the YouTube, you will find the sessions we did on effective networking there. So networking events is, of course, the traditional way through which people meet others. So yeah, it's about breaking out of your comfort zones. As we saw earlier there, in the survey, you see that a lot of people are actually not doing this. You're not going to events. Look for events, especially the ones that are within the target industry, the industry of interest. Look for events that are going on within this industry. In fact, identify the keynote speakers, reach out to the keynote speakers. And guess what? There are also a lot of webinars. This is one. After the session, reach out to the facilitator of this session, because guess what that person is? That person is a connector. right? Especially if that person is also working within your industry. If you're able to connect with this person, it means that you'll be connecting with a huge number of people as well by connecting with that person. And also, these persons become one of your board of advisors if you're able to really build rapport with them. This is really also one of those things you use informational interview to achieve, because through the informational interview you can learn about their journey, you can learn about the challenges they have, or what they also want to, what they are struggling with, so that you also could help them. This is what networking is about. It's about mutually adding value to one another. So don't see it as just panhandling. It's not what it is. You have to be able to help figure out, okay, what they need, and then see how you could also be part of what they do, which of course is something that we do here also in our network. LinkedIn networking, of course, is what you can leverage. We had a session about leveraging LinkedIn for networking. So you can look at that session where we specifically explore the tools that LinkedIn provides for networking. So the LinkedIn technology, what is behind this is what they call a social graph. So this social graph helps you to be able to, explore the social fabric within your industry. You're able to see different people of interest, your colleagues, even people who graduated from your school. You'll be able to see them. Guess what? Maybe those guys are working with some companies, maybe companies that are of interest to you. And then that make it easier for you to be able to identify those people and then set up this type of interviews with them. Maybe even people who have relocated from your home country, but they've been in Canada way before you. Through the LinkedIn social graph, you can actually figure out these people. You'll be able to then reach out to them. Or sometimes it's people that worked in the company you worked in prior to landing in Canada. And you see, these guys are already in Canada before you. You can use the LinkedIn social graph to actually figure out where these people are, where they're located, and you can reach out to them and get this conversation going. And because there's this mutual rapport you already have going, because of these things you had done together, maybe you work at the same company and things like that, it even becomes easier for them to refer you. It becomes easier for them to want to help and support because they have also gone through that journey, and basically you are walking their own journey at this point in time. They will be willing and ready to support you. The last one here is, of course, nurturing your current network. A lot of us, I just mentioned earlier, we have about 500 professionals on our WhatsApp. And sometimes I just don't believe that some guys within our network have not even connected with up to 5 people within our network. So you can see that the opportunities are already there, but people are not just exploring them because of this behavior that I mentioned earlier. You're kind of used to these behaviors of, oh, mm, I don't feel comfortable reaching out to people, even though these are where your opportunities are going to come from. There's some research which I don't have time to go into the details of this research, but our next opportunities or new opportunities that would come to us will come from people within our unexplored segment. The unexplored segment of our network is where our new opportunities are actually lying, not with people we already know. It is the people that are within our network that we've not really done anything with. That is where our new opportunities lies in. And you see, a lot of people are missing huge opportunities this way because they are not reaching out. Even though you are already within a network, are you reaching out to people that are within that network? So this is some of the things you need to start thinking about and taking steps to do them differently by changing your behaviors, right? So let's move on. Yeah, I have this question here on Slido that I would like you guys to try. Let me see. Just kind of make things a little bit more interactive. Um, yeah, I guess from the one you had before, anyways, we already know that people might not really be comfortable with networking, but There's no way you can avoid it. It's how do I say it now? It's something that is unavoidable when it comes to informational interview or networking. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen here so we can see, how people respond to this question. Hopefully, I can remember to change it also on LinkedIn, because the last time I was showing the survey result, it doesn't appear that people saw it. I'm trying to show my Slido. Give me a moment here. Stop sharing here. Let's see my screen. You guys can see my screen, right?
Yes, I can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me share this for those guys on LinkedIn as well so that they can also participate. Okay, I think so far we're seeing neutral, one person. So it's slido.com. That's where you would see the poll. You can just do a QR code there as well. Let me send a message to those on LinkedIn. Okay, well, 5 people so far, and 60%, I guess that's about 3 people saying that they are comfortable with networking, 20% very uncomfortable, and then 20% neutral. Okay, so is comfortable or uncomfortable? We already know that this is something that we have to do. I know there are some people that don't have any issues with social interaction. But if there's anybody that has issues with social interaction, you're looking at the person right here, you know, because growing up, socializing, it's really like the awkward moment for me. But I later learned that there's no way I'm going to make any progress whatsoever, regardless of how great I am academically or whatnot, If I don't build my social network, I am not going to be able to make so much progress. So this is why you see me doing what I'm doing here. What I'm doing here, when I started out, I couldn't even imagine that I would be at this level of comfort, socializing, virtually. Um, because I'm just gonna have to say it as it is. I was really like a nerd, in school. And some of my classmates, would know that what I'm talking about. Even smiling when I came into Canada, smiling is something I actually developed when I came to Canada. My comfort zone is actually frowning. Frowning was my comfort zone before I came to Canada. But when I came to Canada, I realized that the social cultural nuances here to meeting people is actually making sure that people are comfortable with approaching you. You need to be approachable. Some of us that are looking to have a leadership role and all you do all day is frown. I mean, even that alone, it's not something that anybody will want to hire you for, regardless of how great you are at your job, past jobs or whatever. If you are that person that is not approachable, how do you expect, your employees to kind of get along with you and stuff like that? So this is very, very, very critical. This is one of the behaviors that you have to break away from. They do say that your opportunities are out of your comfort zone. All right. This is what is happening here, guys. I hope you see, because I've done a session about this, when it comes to like the how do I even say that word now? I don't want to use big grammar. Like the journey of success journey, what it really looks like is when you decide at some point in your life that you are going to come out of your comfort zone. Your comfort zone was your home country. Now you're in Canada, you have to also break out of your comfort zone here when it comes to job search. You've done that already by coming to Canada. If you wanted to be in your comfort zone, you stay in your home country because you have everything going for you there. But then you decided that, okay, the opportunities are outside of my comfort zone. So you have to replicate that behavior as well. You have to always break out of your comfort zone. Otherwise, new things will not happen. This is really what I would like to say here. No matter how uncomfortable we feel reaching out, connecting, even about rejection. I've been rejected so much on LinkedIn that I don't even care anymore. I reach out to anybody that I want to reach out to, regardless of what my mind is telling me, not to reach out. I've reached out to a vice president before. I want to set up a meeting with her and, kind of I introduce myself and blah blah blah. And then, the worst case scenario which happened was okay, I don't think I be able to meet, or I don't have the time, or I'm busy, blah blah blah. Is that what you're scared of? I've seen some even people who are very close, like people who are within my industry, who see what I do and know that I have something of value to share with them. They don't connect with me when I reach out on LinkedIn for whatever reason, and I don't care. And it doesn't stop me from continuously connecting. I have over 10,000 connections on my LinkedIn. And if I tell you how I built that, is by randomly reaching out to people. But I am very strategic about it. I'll reach out to people that I know I have something in common with. I'll reach out to somebody who have a supply chain background. I'll reach out to someone who have project management background or business analysis or something like that. Or maybe some other things. Okay, I can go to the Supply Chain Canada's website group. Is that what they call it on LinkedIn? And I just click away, on that because I know we're in the same group, right? So at least that gives them some level of, comfortability with, okay, this person is also a member of our group. They'll connect with me. So I did a whole lot of this, or the ones that are suggested by LinkedIn, I'll just click away, like LinkedIn will say, oh, you might also want to view this person's, profile. Apparently, because they see my profile is similar to that person's profile because of some industry commonality and things like that. So once I see LinkedIn suggests this, I just click away. I don't waste my time writing long stories about connecting with them. I know there is a high potential that they will not connect. That's okay, totally okay. Guess what I do? My payback is in a month's time. If I don't see that you've connected with me, I just reject you as well. You know, that's the way it works. So this thing, let's not take it too seriously. We're gonna get rejection. You know, when I was um, trying to change my behavior when it comes to smiling, um because like I told you, I always frown. Like I thought that's my comfort zone, thought that was normal. But then I realized that I wrote an article about it on LinkedIn. One of the articles I have on LinkedIn is about actually how I developed smiling as something that to help me be approachable. I will go on streets and smile at people, okay? So, and it is natural for people to smile back at you. This is how this thing works. People will smile back at you, but of course, there will be some people that will ignore you, that will see you as an awkward person for smiling at them. Yeah, that's totally okay. So let's not take it seriously. It's about us, changing. So if you want a change, you want something to change, you have to be that person that makes that change happen. Until that, not much will change in the situation of job search here in Canada that you are also experiencing, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to leave that. Let's leave this one for now. Um, I need to share my screen uh, again. Uh, okay. So I'm not too sure if people are hearing me on LinkedIn though. Let's see. Yeah, because I have this issue with this. Okay, let me second here. Let me share presentation. Okay. All right. So let's move on. Preparing for informational interview. Three key things. There are other things that you need to do when it comes to preparing for informational interview, but conducting detailed research. So somebody has accepted to meet with you. You need to do your research about their company, their job title, their responsibility, and maybe their tenure with their current employer. Well, LinkedIn provides help in this area. So you look at their profile on LinkedIn, you'll be able to see, you have some kind of information about their career journey. Usually, this also helps you to see things that you might have in common with them. Generally, when the person is an immigrant, it helps because this person actually went through your journey. So it gives you some level of comfortability when it comes to understanding their journey. Okay, well, this is what you're going through anyway. So this kind of question you might ask this person will really resonate with them. And these are things that helps you to build rapport when it comes to informational interviews. So of course, make a list of questions. You want to have some specific questions that will help you to build rapport with this person. So this question also need to establish some type of intellectual rapport, if you know what I mean. That this person sees you as somebody who is well prepared, somebody who is a professional. So all of these things really adds up. So because this thing is like you're going for an actual interview, right? But we know it's an informal interview, but don't just present yourself as like somebody who doesn't really care, because you are meeting your colleague or anything like that, you just dress anyhow and stuff. No, you have to make it, have to make a good impression, good first impression, right? And then, of course, dress appropriately, making sure that you dressing appropriately don't mean that you really have to dress like you're going to an interview, but at least, um, you know, dress maybe business casual, so to speak. And, because all of that really adds up in terms of your operation. And by the way, informational interview doesn't have to be in person. It can actually be online, like over Zoom. So, and that one is also very helpful because it means that nobody has to go anywhere. It's how to sit at your desktop, laptop, and chat away. So this also is something that probably might be of help. Um, so I'm still having issues with this thing. I'm having concern that people are not hearing me on LinkedIn. Let me see. This thing and add it back. Okay, so when it comes to this, the main sector, you already did a networking, you contacted somebody that is through LinkedIn, you contact somebody, and the person you had requested to meet, have a chat, 30 minutes over coffee or whatever, Zoom, whatever works for this person. So you've been able to establish that contact through the networking strategy we discussed earlier. Lily, can you put your question there, or you want to ask? You want to ask now?
Actually, sorry, maybe I missed out the information, so I would like maybe just a stupid question. I couldn't
Okay.
understand how to initiate the informational. So who is initiating the informational interview?
You
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 are
are the
in,
one that you are the one. So basically, I went over the networking strategies, right?
yeah, I got it. So, for example, let's talk about this in practical matter. So, what are you doing? You are just writing on LinkedIn that, for example, I'm this person and I'm looking for a job, or I would like to have international informational interview. So, is it correct? Is it delicate, or is it too
Okay, so
broad?
sure. Okay, so I'll break it down. I think these are some of the things we covered during the effective networking strategies.
Sorry, maybe I missed out the information. So I would like just maybe it's a stupid question. I couldn't understand how.
Can you guys still hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, we okay, so I see what is going on here that people are still not hearing me on LinkedIn. So what I think I get your question. You're talking about, okay, so how do you initiate the informational interview session itself? So
Yes.
so we covered it during the effective networking strategies, but what you will normally will do is when you identify somebody you like to engage based on what we discussed before, reach out to them by first of all introducing yourself. It doesn't have to be a long one, just a short introduction, but making sure that there is a value proposition in your introduction. Like, okay, what do you do? Like, how do you help? So they will call in some other networking thing, they will call this the pitch, right? Elevator pitch or something like that. But this is not exactly elevator speech. I don't like to call it that way because kind of gives a sense of, you're in a rush to do things. So, but this is something that you could, do a little introduction and say something about how you add value. People like people of value, don't go out there because I see you mentioned some, oh, I'm looking for a job. I like to ask for information at interview. No, okay, right? So you want to approach as somebody who has something to offer because, like I always say, everybody is on LinkedIn for something. So it is first of all your job to know, okay, what are they looking for? Go on their LinkedIn profile, kind of have an idea or sense of their journey, and then reach out. I haven't had some sense of their journey. You can even, so I call this the hook. Okay, it's part of what we discussed in that session. So you will need to have some kind of a hook. So what is the one thing you want to use to engage these guys to take interest in what you are offering, right? So that's the hook. It could be something about their experience, how unique it is, or how unique you see it. And from these unique insights that they have, you would like to learn from them. If you have to call them expert to get their attention, that's all fine. But like there has to be those elements there. And then there's something we call the small ask. So the small ask is ask them a little questions that they could respond to you immediately on that particular question. So you can ask them, oh, I noticed, so you look at their profile, I noticed that you actually got a job similar to what you had in your home country within 3 months of landing in Canada. How did you make that happen? Are there any specific strategies that you have used that you could share with me? You see where I'm going?
Yeah.
So this small ask is not a big deal for them. They will just respond to you, oh yeah, you know what, I did this, I did that, blah, blah, blah. And then you will now do a follow-up. The follow-up you do is where you do the big ask, which is the informational interview.
And how you just articulate this idea just to interest the person,
Yeah,
because he's going to spend some time on you.
yeah,
So and of course he understands why you are just initiating it, and it is more beneficial for you, not for him. Your
yeah,
interest is bigger. Yeah. So uh, I don't I don't catch the idea how it can be effective. I understand what you mean, but it is very difficult to do it properly and targeted. So it is very
yeah.
delicate. Yes, just find the right balance.
Okay, yeah, definitely. So, and also these things I'm talking about takes practice. Again, it goes back to the behavior. You have to expect rejection. It doesn't have to be pitch perfect or anything, but as long as those little elements are there, like I mentioned the hook, I also mentioned the small ask. The small ask, the reason why we do the small ask is we want to keep the conversation going. So we want to pick on something that is of interested them, that their own stories,
Yeah.
their story is something that matters to them. That's why you're asking that thing in that fashion. See, everybody gone through some challenges or the other. So if you're able to pick on those things, they are open to telling their story. So they will definitely respond back to you. And it takes practice. You tweak it here or there, and then before you know it, like for me, I practiced this for a long time. After some time, I actually developed a script for this. So after some time, which I use in my job search coaching, so I actually don't write the script anymore because it's now something I've really, mastered. I just make sure all those little elements are there. And no pressure, if they answer, great. If they don't answer you, just keep on moving. And looking at, okay, what can you do differently next time that will make the person to actually want to engage with you, right? So goes back to the upgrading the mindset that I mentioned earlier, right? So it's something that has to be intentional. It has to be something you practice continuously, change, and then before you know it, you just have a set of way that you engage that gives the right result, which is setting up an informational interview with them. I would definitely recommend that you listen to that session we had where I actually broke that down. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for the answer.
Yeah. So of course, this also kind of helps you to, like this particular one here is when you're probably meeting somebody in person at an event or even meeting them online, say when you're trying to engage, you set up the informational interview already. So now you are at the informational interview. Now, how do you get the question, the sessions moving? How do you build rapport on these things? So broken this down into 3 categories of questions, and these questions needs to be open-ended, right? Questions are one of the strategies through which you actually, engage somebody that is new, right? Somebody that is new that you're trying to build rapport with. So questions about sports, weather, local area, hobbies, travel, entertainment, and general interest questions are very effective for breaking the ice with a new contact. So I do 15-minute session with you guys, for those who have done my 15 minutes sessions. And yeah, the first thing I will talk about, oh, where you're based, oh, what's the weather like there right now? Um, and maybe how has the journey been so far, in Canada? So all of these things are questions that I use to break the ice. They are starter questions that get both of us comfortable with sharing more about ourselves, right? So these are very critical. And then there is the contextual questions, and when you then do a deep dive, like into specific questions related to career, industry, and other related questions. Remember in the previous slide, we said you need to do your own homework, to generate the questions you would ask. But for the most part, make sure that these questions are open-ended. They are questions that get the person to share more. You don't have to know those things, anything about those things you are asking. It's just intended for you to learn, to get to know more, to build rapport and make them more comfortable sharing with you. The last one here, of course, is show interest and listen. Okay, so this is very, very critical part of building rapport. You need to be somebody who listens, because if you don't listen, then it means that you're probably not interested in their story or in their journey. So you need to show that interest by listening. I think we'll talk more about the do's and don'ts later. I think I'll skip that just because of time. We want to make sure we finish on time. Um, these are some of the questions that you can ask. General questions, questions about their jobs, preparing for the career. So if you are, like you're transitioning into a new career, you might have questions about that specific career that you can ask. For example, yes, if you are entering this career today, would you change your preparation in any way to facilitate entry? So this is something you can ask somebody who transition maybe from one career to the other, and that could get them talking about how they did their transition. You will see that the way these questions are, it's basically focused on this person themselves, like it's basically focusing on their career. So you get them to share their stories. And the one thing that I like to also share with you guys, because I did quite a lot of research on these things, even to things that has to do with maybe the neurological aspects of these things, how it really works, in the psychological level. So when it comes to sharing people's stories, or getting people to share their story, what really happens is when this person shared their story with you, do you realize that you are now become part of that story? Because when they were sharing that story with you, they are experiencing that event all over again as they are sharing with you. And on a neurological level, you that they are sharing with now have become a part of that story. I don't know if that makes sense. So these are things that are very, very subliminal, but are on a psychological level, are very, very effective in influencing the person you are talking with or the person you are engaging. So this is the way this thing works. Get them to tell their stories. The questions that you're asking, it could be framed in this way. You can see when you're asking about their job, what was your title and when you first started here? What kind of problems do you deal with, on the job, right? You basically this is about them. And before when you ask this question, there was a time that I did this, blah 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 blah. And then as they're sharing that, they're experiencing that thing again. The brain doesn't know a difference between if they're just experiencing it now or they're experiencing it in the past. So as you're doing that, then they're sharing their story. You also are becoming part of that story. And what does that do for you? It helps you to establish rapport with this person because now you care to listen to their story and they are now more comfortable sharing more with you. So these are all the different type of questions. I mean, there are tons of questions out there. During my sessions, I actually provide quite a number of these questions from which you can then pick the one you're more comfortable with. So the next thing here is that, okay, they might ask you questions too, So while you are the one asking them questions, remember again, this is like an interview you set up, right? So you are the one asking the question and having to listen to them, just like at an interview. But then also you realize that interviews also you may ask questions. So it's also what works here. So you may also be asked questions, right? As the conversation continues. So this is a method that you probably might have known already if you've had sessions with us here. We call it the STAR method. So the STAR method starts with situation, task, action, results. So basically, is a method or a framework that you use in describing your experience, but having it focus on getting to the point, of what the issues were, and what were you supposed to then address in terms of the task, and of course what were the things that you then did to address the situation, using those tasks that you've completed, and then what were the results. So if you don't know this, I think it's something you need to be familiar with. We actually, use this during our mock interviews with the guys that have attended our mock interview. We will provide this to them to use it as a way to answer the questions that we ask them. So when you are answering questions, this helps you to be precise and not just be like all over the place and not quite hitting the nail on the head if you follow this format. So you can actually take the task out of it for an informational interview. So it just be an SAR. So the situation, the actions, and then the results, right? Makes it simpler, right? So that's okay. Thanks, Adela, for sharing. I think Adela shared my link for 15 minutes session. If you'd like to go deeper, basically to address your own specific challenges, you might need that link. So the rules, the do's. So basically, if you are conducting an informational interview, there are some expectations on both sides that needs to be established. The first one, of course, we need to do our research. You mentioned that earlier. We also need to respect the time of the person we're engaging. If we're told them it's 30 minutes, let's make sure we wrap up our questions before 30 minutes, unless they give permission that, okay, well, you can continue, you can ask. Oh, I still have 15 minutes more. No worries, you can continue. So, unless they do that, you should stick to the time you have requested. Just to be on the comfort level, when I set up informational interviews, because during my jobs or coaching, I will actually facilitate this process. Not like I don't want you to do it yourself, but I just do it so that to get you in the mood for setting this up. I would do maybe 2 or 3 with you, look for the person we're going to connect with and every other thing in between and set it up. So I will usually do 45 minutes because at least that gives you some time for you to be able to, maybe respond to their own questions, or maybe if they have any other thing that they want you to talk about. Then ask good questions. So we talked about questions earlier. So making sure your questions are very incisive. So I mentioned something about intellectual rapport. So questions also, addresses that, like, oh, this guy is asking very good question, and it kind of makes you to be likable, or this person is very curious, and like this helps you to become somebody that, you know, is intellectually sound, that they want to associate with. So asking good questions is also very important. They don't hope to get referred or hired. This is not the goal, right? But if it leads to that, great. It is for them to offer to refer you, not you asking them, right, to refer you. Because like we say again, this has to be something that is mutually beneficial. It's not something like you're just handling and putting pressure on this person to help you for a job, to help you with your resume or anything. The moment they actually ask you for that, then you know that you've actually been able to successfully establish rapport with them. I hope that makes sense. They should be the one asking to help you, not you pushing or putting pressure on them to help you. So the goal here is to build rapport, gain insights, share or learn from them. Don't interrupt. So it could happen that we get so excited that we interrupt. We don't want to get to that point because it doesn't help build, it breaks rapport, basically. Um, you have to show yourself as somebody who listens. And for these reasons, you just listen to them as they speak when you ask them questions. You are the one that asks the questions, right? So yeah, listen to their questions, and then if there's a follow-up questions, ask. Some people, because there's some people who are excited to talk or to respond to what they're saying. If that happens, just do your mouth like this, so that you know that you're focused on listening to them, and he also knows that you're focused on listening to them, not you responding or interrupting them. So I will always encourage that. It helps. First impression matters. Don't ask for favors. Okay, I think I mentioned that earlier. You already asked for a favor which led to the meeting, right? So don't pressure them to review or accept your resume unless they specifically ask to help. So want to make sure that each person's expectations are clear. Okay, so I think we're kind of close to rounding up here. Let me show another slide here. We're actually going to have an informational interview session next Saturday. Yeah, so this is a public one, right? So maybe you can get the opportunity to practice, but this will be an informational interview with business analysts in supply chain, right? So these are guys who actually are they are business analysts, but in the supply chain industry. So we'll be asking them questions about maybe how they transitioned, the technology, and maybe some other skills that are required in their career. So if it's something that you'll be interested in, we will be having that next week. Okay, so this one is about describing in a word or phrase what you actually learned today. All right, so that's what I'm going to share now. Let's stop the screen here. Okay, so just in a word or in a phrase, just type away what you have learned today during this session. I hope you can see it. You guys can see it, right? Nobody's responding. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can see the QR code, yeah.
Okay, good. Thanks. Okay. So the question again is with a word, a word. So let's not type long stuff, just a word or just a phrase, not a complete sentence. Build relationships first. Yeah, I like that. Opportunities will follow. Any other one? Only two people have typed so far. Meet specialists on LinkedIn, icebreaking with new people. Icebreaking specialists. Yeah, so connect with contacts on LinkedIn, build relationships first. Any other thing you've heard today? The one person is typing. So where you had the meet specialists, can actually talk about meeting your colleagues, mentors, um, keynote speakers, or you can call them subject matter experts. Who else? Connectors, people will call connectors. So, for example, I will be a connector because I have a large number of people who follow me on LinkedIn and what I do. So there are several people like that within your industry that you need to connect with, because the moment you connect with them, you actually then opens yourself up to their own network. I think I explained this in the effective networking with LinkedIn, right? So if you connected with somebody who has 10,000 connections on LinkedIn, it means that those people who are in his first degree now becomes your second degree connection. And by doing that, like uh, increase your network contacts on LinkedIn at the second degree level by thousands, of course, even millions, right? If you take it to the fifth degree or the sixth degree level. So it is very, very important, especially those people who are within your target industry. So which one else? Brief introduction yourself first. Yeah, I think yeah, you need to do that to break the ice. You need to do a little introduction, have some value proposition, like what do you do? How do you help others? What are the things that makes you different from others? And then, if you remember, we talk about the small ask. Okay, we talk about the small ask. The small ask is the first thing you ask them, which is usually a questions that tends to get them to respond to you. And then after that small ask, you can then respond, oh, thanks, I've been doing some of these, but there are these that I also would like to continue or to add to my list of action items. However, if you wouldn't mind, I would really appreciate it if you can take 30, 45 minutes of your time where you can share even more of these insights with me over coffee or on Zoom. That's your big ask right there. So you can also say that there's no pressure. Is if they are not available to do it, fine. But you would really appreciate it if it's something that they are able to make happen. So we do all of these things. It's very strategy where we're saying, like people don't like to be forced to do something, and that's why you do that. Okay, you know what? No pressure, but if it's something that you are open to, and that will probably make them feel comfortable to respond to your big ask. How to prepare for informational interview, use it to make new acquaintances, create networking, ask about job you're interested in, during when you're asking questions during the informational interview. Okay, so I'm going to leave it now. I think we tried, I have some comments here that shows that we're listening. It's like your test, right? To know that you've actually been following the conversation. So let's continue the conversation here. So the question might be then, what is next after this? So let me stop screen. Let's share this again. Okay. Yeah, so somebody has said true networking is about showing genuine interest, all right? Because it has to be mutually beneficial opportunities. So connect with our mentors to get a one-to-one. That's your next step. Okay, remember I said again, this is about doing. If you're not doing, like you can listen and listen forever. It doesn't make, lead to any change, right? We also have a job search accelerator program, which is where we actually walk you through these steps. I facilitate that most of the time to get you to take these specific steps, including all of the things that we've been having sessions about, from effective networking to effective communication and every other thing. The effective communication, we actually have a consultant that helps with that because this also is something that a lot of us need. So I will also add effective communication to this list of things that you need to address. The effective communication workshop is currently ongoing, and I spoke with one of the ladies that enrolled in this session, and she was amazed that, oh, she thought effective communication has really nothing to do with networking or has nothing to do with, like being successful at interviews. But everything that Gloria does at this effective communication is targeted at people who are job seeking. It was designed specifically for newcomers. All right. So things like even figuring out if there are some elements of mispronunciation that can get in the way, or there are elements of strong accents that might not allow the interviewee to really understand what you're saying. So all of these things are addressed, even up to your body language, how you carry yourself, your face, how like I was talking about smiling earlier and things like that. And there are some type of exercises that she does, which are at a physiological level, that she does to help you improve. That you would see the improvement within that same period that you do these physiological exercises. So don't take my word for it. The guys that have attended it have spoken very, very well about the effective communication workshop. And for any newcomer, it's something I'll always recommend for you to address anything around effective communication issues. So the next steps here is take the one-to-one assessment. If you are able to participate in the job search accelerator, great, because it's not free, okay? And then the other one is the effective communication workshop. And of course, we have the informational interview next week. We would like you to join us. You will get the invitation. It's about business analysis. So we're going to be speaking with some guys who are they have business analyst roles in supply chain, and we would like to ask them questions about their career, how it's doing, how much they pay them, I guess, which is the lure for them to leave the traditional supply chain role into business analysis, and so many other questions that we can ask to learn from their own story. And also possibly you can connect with them after and to see if you could have a one-to-one with them, especially if you are somebody who is targeting the business analysis career. I think that should be all for now. I don't know if there's any questions from you guys. Any question? Any question? You can raise up your hand and then we can address the question. I like that we still have 15 minutes more to go. Let's see if there's anything in the network connection strategies. That's from Lily. That's not the question though. So you
Yeah.
go ahead.
Actually, no questions. Thank you for the session. It was really very good one. I will go deeper into the information that you gave. Yes, it was just very good points that should be researched deeper. Thank you very much.
Okay. So again, it's about behaviors, changing behaviors is a big deal. It's a big deal. In the beginning, it will look awkward. It will look as if you're not figuring it out yet. But as you do it, you get more comfortable with it, and then as you get results, that even pushes you further to do more of these informational interviews. Again, like I said, it's about you setting up the interviews. You are not waiting for them to set up interview for you. You are the one setting it up. It goes a long way. You're like 100 steps ahead of those who are just waiting for them to be called for interviews. That's the way I see informational interviews, and it's very, very effective if you do it right. Um, in your job search. So, any other question? Any comment? No question. Adela, do you have anything you want to share?
No, nothing at the moment, no.
Okay. Okay, guys. If there are no questions, what I will do here is I will leave the session going on for some minutes, let's say 5 minutes, so that if there's anything that we've shared here that you would like to use, so just copy it from the chat box while it's still on for 5 minutes while we close down, and after 5 minutes I will shut it down, and I will look at the stuff I have on that is streaming. If nobody is sharing me, apparently I will upload this one on YouTube, so that you will have access to everything that we have discussed during the entire period. I guess on LinkedIn they're probably not hearing me for I have some technical issues here. So that is it for today, guys. Thanks for joining in. Next week, join us on the informational interview with business analysts. I'll be a very good follow-up to the session we had today. Okay, bye for now, guys. Thanks, Lily, for joining. Thanks, I think Victor earlier. Who else is there? All the guys that joined us today. So really appreciate joining our session. Let's see you next week. And if you are into project management, supply chain, operations management, don't hesitate to join our WhatsApp. But before joining the WhatsApp, please join the supplyjobs.ca first. That's when we are able to accept your request to join the WhatsApp. Adela, I don't think you were able to add the WhatsApp link, right? Were you?
No, I wasn't, but I sent the link to join the network.
Oh, okay. Let me see if I can.
Sorry, also I have a question just on your
Okay.
LinkedIn. I saw that you are specialized in project management. So,
Yeah.
are you making consultations related to this? Because I want to take PMP exam.
Yeah. Yeah, we have our cohort. The last cohort happened, I think, in February to April. So we're gonna have another cohort in August. So if it's something you are planning to do, yeah, you will get invitations to join the cohort. I can send you more information, but I think what we should do is, can you schedule a 15-minute session with me and we can speak more about this?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
No voice.
Oh, sorry. So I
Yeah.
was just calling out your names, Kunle and Nara, Charles, Lily, Becky. Thanks for joining us. And Adela, thanks for supporting today. Really appreciate it. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone. Abiodun?
Yeah, you came back.
Nah, I didn't leave. I was waiting for them to leave.
Oh,
I
okay.
did. I did the exam yesterday.
Oh, okay. I think I saw something like that. I'm like, I don't know what you have there. Let me go and search. I got trapped into something else. I couldn't see it
Okay.
again. Congrats, Jare. You see now, and
Thanks.
it's done and over with.
Over and done. Yes. I was like, because I'd been studying for PMP already, and I paused that one to do this one.
Okay, yeah. This one
Mm.
is easier, right?
Technically, yes. Yes,
Mm.
it's easier. The exam wasn't exactly a breeze, but yeah.